Hey guys, I'm back, and today I'm going to react to an early interview of mine. This was like one of my first, might have been my first actual like headlining interview, kind of focus piece on me. It was for STARZ, before STARZ was like huge. When Scream went and premiered on STARZ, they wanted some of the cast to do, in-depth interviews for it. And I was picked, and I thought it'd be interesting to react to and, see what's up. This is me reacting to my first starring interview. This is when Scream debuted on STARZ March 12th, 1998.
STARZ speak.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number one, you can never have sex. Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
STARZ recently caught up with Jamie Kennedy, one of the many young up-and-coming actors starring in Wes Craven's horror hit Scream, and asked him about his impression of working with Wes.
I thought he was going to be a freak.
First thing I noticed is my ears are bigger than I realized. I do have some healthy ears. We all have that 90s hair, clean look.
Action!
Like he's doing these really intricate horror scenes that are really gory and bloody. But yeah, why he's always doing it, he's doing a crossword puzzle. So he'd always be sitting there and he'd just be like, okay, give it to me again. Do you remember you're chasing Sid with the knife? So remember when you stab her, stab her a lot, stab her hard, more blood, stab her about 18 times. Give me a 5-letter word for soup spoon.
That's true, by the way. Wes was such a cerebral dude that he would do that. He would make these crazy movies, but be so calm about it. He would have a crossword puzzle sometimes as he's directing. I forgot that, and he would do that as he's directing. Maybe it was a way to be zen, but he was always a multitasker, amazing at it.
Ladle. Okay, here we go. More blood. Yeah. There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect. Take a date to a horror movie. Get anything that's high emotion, because horror, they jump, they scare, they grab.
Jamie's.
This is a true fact, by the way. Horror movies always star young girls, and they say that that's the audience for horror movies, because I heard that the theory was that they make movies with young lead ingenues that the girls can look up to aspirationally, and then the girls in the audience are so they're scared, and then they're starting to date, and the kid is there, the dude is there, the boy, and he's like, it's okay. So that's what I had heard, that why horror movies kind of started as a date movie, believe it or not. And it's like a way for the guy to like protect the woman. It's an interesting theory if it's true.
Intense on-screen presence is what really grabbed the viewers of Scream.
Did you really put her liver in the mailbox? Because I heard that they found her liver in the mailbox.
One thing that's true is that Jamie loves to have a good time.
Soundstage. That's my publicist.
And that fun comes from a background of doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I used to do stand-up, and I did it for about 4.5, almost 5 years, and, the thing about comedy that sucks is when you're bombing. I used to bomb a lot, and getting off stage and hearing, like, birds chirping, it's not the best. But I loved it a lot. I actually wrestle with it in my head if I should go back and do it or not. I haven't done it for about 2 years since I've been pretty busy, but, I could get right back into it.
Okay.
That's crazy, yeah. So that's a lot of people don't realize, is that I did stand up, and when I started getting acting jobs, I really did take some time off. Like I was doing Scream, and that's the thing that like propelled me back into it, because I was doing all these movies and I was so excited. But I had my stand up tricks that I would do, and it was always a tool that I had that was really helpful because it keeps you sharp. And so, but when I was doing movies for a while, I didn't have the time to do it. But that's why, it's interesting that I forgot that. And then I eventually did go back to it.
Business. The way I see it, someone's out to make a sequel. Cash in on all the movie murder hoopla. So it's our job to observe the rules of the sequel. Number one, the body count is always bigger.
That was a direct West direction, by the way, when he went, the rules. Like he said, say it like that. He said, make it seem like you're like almost choking on the word. Like it's our job to observe the rules of this stuff. And it was the way I said it was the way he told me to say it. I love that direction.
Number two, the death scenes are always much more elaborate. More blood, more gore. Carnage, candy.
Speaking of comedy, Jamie credits a lot of his getting into show business to another hometown comic.
Bill Cosby is a huge influence on me. He was.
This is true. I'm not going to change it. This is fascinating to me. This is like right now, like what are people going to say? Well, this is true. Let me hear myself and then.
He's awesome. He was from the Philadelphia area, and I remember I would tell people I wanted to be an actor, and then people were like, what? Are you crazy? So I didn't tell too many people after that. And I told my sister, Patty, and she's like, I think you should do it, I really think you could do it. And she's like, can you cry? And then I cried. And she's like, okay, you do it. Like, I fake cried. And one day I was at the library, and I picked up this book on acting and like comedy and whatever, and it was Bill Cosby had written it. And it was a very quick read, and I read it. And he just talked about you should only be an actor or a comedian if you feel that it's burning a hole inside of your body, that you feel if you can't do it, you'll be physically sick, and that it's just something that won't go away. And at that time, I was getting like the obsession, but I wasn't crazy yet. And I started feeling like, yeah, I feel like this.
But being a rise.
I mean, look, everything I just said there is true. I mean, Bill Cosby he was on the Rushmore of comedians. He was incredible comic, and he was from the Philadelphia area. He was huge in the Philadelphia area before all of the horrific shit happened. He was a comedic god. And so now it's fascinating how me saying that, I wonder how people will look at that. They're probably going to come at me, but he did have that book and that was great advice. He was like, you can never try to do comedy. You can never try to do comedy. Comedy will do you. You will touch the microphone, you will bomb, and you will want to do it again. And you can't stop. You cannot stop. You wake up thinking about it. You go to sleep thinking about it. I just did a set tonight and I was obsessing. And I'm fucking 50 years old and I've been doing it for 30 years. I'm like, why did I fucking do that? This is such a deeper conversation. But can we separate the monster from the artist? And this is a conversation that is going to permeate our culture for a long time. Because what we're seeing now is that a lot of people who have made art, and a lot of times great art, may be horrific. Not problematic, horrific. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? And see, this is where our culture is a little bit, a lot of bit hypocritical. So we've all come to the conclusion that Weinstein is a monster, right? But he has a 20-year catalog of some incredible movies, and people still consume them. So in a way, you're keeping his legacy alive. I'm included in that legacy. I'm in some of those movies. It's a fucking deep question, right? Can you enjoy the music of Led Zeppelin? I love it. There's a lot of sordid history there. I mean, if you really gonna look at all of our history, we're not gonna have a lot, because a lot of stuff that we like is made from fucked up people. Bill Cosby is this fucking terrible guy, and he influenced a lot of people.
Being star also means he still has his share of idols he'd like to work with.
Growing up, who I admired were John Ritter was awesome. He still is. I think he's great. I'd like to work with him, actually.
I never got to work with John, but I got to do the Jimmy Kimmel show with him, and he was the sweetest man. And he gave me the nicest compliment in the green room. His wife wrote me a letter when he passed away. He was the sweetest man. It's a very personal letter to me, and you know, I told him that he raised me, and he was like very happy that I said that, but he did. He was one of my biggest inspirations.
In Three's Company, I watched him. I mean, he was a physical comic. He was great. In Sling Blade, he was totally different.
Sling Blade, God, he's so good.
Murphy. I'd love to work with Eddie Murphy, too. He was another big influence.
Now, this was crazy. Eddie Murphy, who I said I wanted to work with. This was 3/12/98. Within the next month, in April, I remember I auditioned for 2 movies. I want to say either one of the movies was The Core, and then there was another movie called Bowfinger. So within like a month of this interview, I got in Bowfinger. It's kind of crazy. I said I wanted to work with him. I didn't know I was going to work with him yet.
Big influence on me.
Well, thank you very much. I'm flattered.
So, what's in the future for Jamie Kennedy?
Well, I don't know. Jamie doesn't even know. I feel pretty comfortable right now, and I want to do something that's different than what I've done. I like to do something that I can really bite on and chew, and hopefully it'll come along.
See Jamie Kennedy in the hippest horror film yet, Scream. Sunday, March 29th on STARZ. Movies too big to miss.
It'll be a scream, baby.
They made me do that at the end. Pooga! I was like them, like, give us something crazy. That was very cool. I mean, it was my first featurette. I remember I did that at my back house. It was like my first little thing I ever shot at my house, my first house ever. And gosh, it's fucking 23 years ago. It feels like yesterday. But I think I was on my way. A lot of youth in those eyes. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this right now, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you got questions, leave a comment. Much love. Peace.